Greetings to all BMW lovers from a new video. In this video, we will take a look at the history of the BMW 3 Series with you. By the end of the video, you will already know everything about the BMW 3 Series. So let's start without wasting time. To many, it may seem like the BMW 3 Series has always been with us. It nearly has, getting its start in 1975 as a two-door coupe that replaced the aging BMW 2002, itself a small, fun-to-drive coupe that both saved the BMW brand and served to bring BMW into the mainstream US market. This first 3 Series was internally coated the E21 and featured designer Paul Brack's crisp, clean shark nose styling. Several styling traits from this series left imprints on future 3 Series models, such as the double kidney grille, a Hofmeister kink at the base of the C-pillar, twin headlights, and a center control stack that was angled at the driver. In the US, the only E21 variant officially imported was the 320i, with a mechanically fuel-injected 1.8-liter, 4-cylinder engine powering the rear wheels. European models offered several 6-cylinder versions. The second-generation 3 Series, E30, arrived in Europe in 1982, and by the end of 1983, the 318i had landed on American shores as a 1984 model, fitted with a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine with a higher compression ratio and with new Bosch electronic fuel injection. A 2.5-liter, inline 6-cylinder variant dubbed 325e arrived shortly after with a detuned version of the Euro spec engine. In 1987, the 325i brought increased performance, and a host of small improvements continued to update the E30 3 Series until it was cancelled after the 1992 model year. The E30 was available in the US as a two-door coupe and convertible and four-door sedan. It was rear-wheel drive by default, but all-wheel drive was available on the 325i. The third-generation E36 3 Series was launched in Europe in 1990, but didn't arrive in US showrooms until 1993 as a 1994 model year car. Again available as a two-door coupe and convertible and four-door sedan, a two-door 318t hatchback was also briefly added to the lineup, only powered with the base 4-cylinder engine. 6-cylinder versions, first known as 325i, then 328i, continued to top the range. The E36 was significantly larger and more modern than the outgoing E30 and boasted integrated plastic bumpers and an ever-increasing array of options and features until its cancellation at the end of the 1999 model year. The fourth-generation E46 3 Series joined the US lineup for the 2000 model year and brought with it another thorough updating of the 3 Series formula. With newly rounded edges on the classic 3-box design, US models again were found in coupe, convertible, and sedan forms, with some 70% greater torsional rigidity than before. Luxury features increased again, as did weight and safety, and by now, US customers were offered only inline 6-cylinder engines, dropping both the 4-cylinder engine and the hatchback model. BMW claims the E46 is the top-selling 3 Series of all time with a huge 3,266,885 examples built globally. In 2006, the fifth-generation 3 Series landed on American shores, and BMW now considered the variants different enough to give them their own internal designation. Sedans were known as E90, wagons, now offered to the US for the first time, were E91, coupes E92, and convertibles E93. Turbocharging technology finally arrived for the 5th-gen cars, and all models were again larger and heavier than those that came before. 6-cylinder gas engines were the volume seller, but a new 6-cylinder turbo diesel was offered for the first time to the American market. 6th-generation 3 Series models, having arrived in 2012, diverged even further, with sedans dubbed F30, wagons named F31, and Gran Turismo models snagging the F34 title. All two-door variants were now moved to the 4 Series model name and developed separately from the sedan. Buyers could choose from sport or luxury theme packages in both 4 and 6-cylinder engines, all turbocharged. The 7th-generation 3 Series, G20, arrived for 2019 and again offers a single turbo 4 or 6-cylinder engine, with rear-wheel drive standard and all-wheel drive optional. For now, only a sedan variant is available in the US, and it is unclear if a wagon will be forthcoming. Enthusiasts gravitate to the M variants of the 3 Series timeline. The E30 M3 was the first M3 produced and was a true homologation special, with a high-strung 4-cylinder engine, box-flared fenders, and a high-profile rear wing. E36Ms moved to a 6-cylinder engine for more power, but were less focused and looked more like a standard 3 Series. A 2-door convertible and 4-door variant were also available for the first time in the US. The E46 M3 kept a straight 6 engine up front, but was offered as a coupe or convertible only. Visually, it was differentiated by grills in the front fenders that paid homage to the old 3.0 CSL coupes of BMW's past. E90 Series Ms got a new 8-cylinder engine and were offered in coupe, convertible, and sedan form. With the 6th generation 3 Series came the 5th generation M3, which now was only available as a sedan, in keeping with BMW's new naming convention. Coupe and convertible variants became known as M4. All 5th generation Ms used a twin-turbocharged straight-6 engine. The G20 Series M3 has yet to launch, but is expected in the US by 2022. If ever there were a model to take your time buying, it's the BMW 3 Series. Due to generally strong build quality and the huge amounts of 3 Series models sold through the years, there are usually plenty of examples on the market, no matter which generation fries your schnitzel. Generally speaking, clean examples of early generations will be more difficult to find, and you'll pay a hefty premium for anything out of the BMW motorsport department. Be patient and buy the best car your budget can tolerate. If you spend more money now, you'll spend less on upkeep later. Sure. BMW has sold over 12 million 3 Series globally. They generally have a reputation for solid engineering and performance. The 3 Series is BMW's premium compact sedan. Current variants include the 330i, M340i, and 330i X-Drive. That depends on personal preference, but generally speaking the E30 and E46 3 Series models are preferred by BMW fans and automotive enthusiasts. As a luxury brand, BMW parts and service will often cost more than the same for, say, a Toyota. Often there are also more luxury features that can be expensive to fix when they fail. Any used BMW buyer is recommended to have potential purchases inspected by a qualified BMW mechanic who can also explain any common faults. If you like this video, you can share it with other BMW enthusiast friends, write your opinion about the video and subscribe to the channel to get more information about cars. See you in the next video.